Leeds में भी हुआ था.
ये
Real life.
Yeah, I was just telling Gargi that because of the wind, this headache is a persistent problem here in England, exactly
Yes.
like Rishabh Pant had given India that enormous headache. That enormous headache. And then Nitish Kumar Reddy compounded problems by leaving that ball
Oof.
outside of stump. And that judgment was a very bad error in judgment. But thankfully, Shubman Gill playing an outstanding innings as captain and Ravindra Jadeja doing why Ravindra Jadeja is out there. So many people question Ravindra Jadeja. This is why Ravindra Jadeja. India's day,
Absolutely.
happy, 400. Even Stevens, how do you describe it?
I think it was India's day. I mean, it looks like it wasn't because you've lost so many wickets. You've lost 5 wickets. I know that from the outside, and anyone who was watching the match would have felt that with the amount of wickets that you have lost, this might not be India's day. But you have to look at the scorecard. You look at the scorecard. We, at the beginning of this match, said if India gets anything close to 300, we'll be happy. We'll take it.
Today.
And that today, yes,
Yeah.
yes. At the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, if India gets anything close to 300, we will take it. And India has scored 310. Shubman Gill, brilliant century. And you know, this is something I was noticing is that today this was a chanceless century. He did not give any chances or did not try to. What am I saying?
Yeah,
He did not give away any chances. Apart.
I understand what she's saying. I'll say it for her. I'll say it for her. She's basically
step.
trying to say
He
that
did.
it was a chanceless innings which was almost flawless.
Yeah.
Except that one inside edge where he was kind of saved. It was an absolutely outstanding innings. You know why this happens? Because when you're working long and hard days, words don't come out of your mouth.
Now
That's
they
what it
will.
happens.
Now they will.
No, now it will. And it's absolutely fine. It happens to everybody. But yes, 1 wicket too many, just maybe 310 for 400% India. England will know that in the morning with the second new ball, which is just 5 overs old, they knock Shubman Gill over or a Ravindra Jadeja over. All of a sudden, there is a Washington Sundar and the tail. So this 310 can just about fold up for 350, 360.
Yeah.
On the other hand, India will know that if this partnership negotiates the second new ball for another 10-ish overs, this can be a 400 score. And when you have two spinners on a wicket and you score 400, now people will say based on leads, why not 500, why not 600? Look, boss, ultimately in England, if you're getting 400 in the first innings consistently, that is pretty outstanding. You've got to take that. If this team gets a 400 again, they are 310, that first star, and we say it every match. That first star, second day,
45
will be
minutes.
fantastic.
Will be fantastic, and I see Shubman Gill and Ravindra Jadeja doing it because they've steadied the ship so far. Look, when Shubman Gill came in, you had lost quick wickets. When Ravindra Jadeja came in, you had lost quick wickets. So both of them had a responsibility on their shoulders, more so the captain because he's been batting really, really well and he's looking absolutely solid. The strokes that he's playing, the drives that he's playing, it makes him look phenomenal. Makes him look phenomenal. But when we talk about tomorrow, again, it's not going to be easy because at first hour, it will be crucial. The ball is still new. Chris Woakes will come in fresh. Bryden Cass will come in fresh, and then Ben Stokes will eventually come in as well. But we have to remember that India still have a long way to go. You need
At least
try
100
to
runs.
try to get to 400. And I don't see a reason why this should not happen unless there's a collapse. Shubman Gill loses his wicket, Ravindra Jadeja, and you still have a Washington Sundar. So if you expect 50, I expect 50 runs from this partnership, and God forbid there's a wicket gone, then Washington Sundar can come in and stitch another partnership. So that should happen. And on top of it, I'm being very positive here or optimistic here. But if the lower middle order and Akashdeep comes in and contributes, let's say, another 50 runs or 30, 40 runs, then that's more than enough.
I take the first point. I do take the first point, and I'll give Gargi the opportunity of describing Shubman's innings. Because, you know, you watched that. It was a privilege to watch Shubman Gill out there.
Yes.
Absolute privilege. I buy the point about Shubman and Jadeja. I also buy the point about Washington because he has a very good defensive technique. Washington Sundar's defensive technique is as good as anyone. So, and by the way, he has batted up the order several times in his life. So it's not as if he can't negotiate the new ball. So I'm pretty much confident 310, this partnership is close to 100.
Yes.
211 is when they came together. So 99 runs already added as part of this partnership. If this partnership carries on till 350, no reason why India can't get to 400. That's what both of us feel. And with Washington Sundar, Akashdeep, I am not sure about a 30-40, but even if it's a 15-20, and that's what you want from your lower order,
Yes,
a 15-20, put a price on your wicket. Don't throw it away like Prasidh Krishna did. I do think India can get past 400. And if they do get past 400, that's a good score.
Absolutely.
Whatever anybody says, 400 in a first innings after you've lost the toss, when there are two spinners who will come into play, is a good enough score. India will contain England with the negative lines, or on day 2 if necessary, with the two spinners. But Shubman Gill, over to you.
Oof.
Take your time,
No.
compose yourself and go for it.
No, I'm fine now. That was just a little hiccup there. But what do you say about Shubman Gill at this point? Back-to-back centuries from him
As skipper.
as skipper. And the first time that he stepped out as India's test captain, he gets a century, and a brilliant one. And then the second time, the second match of his life as the Indian test skipper, he gets another century. And the fact here is not that he played brilliant shots. We expect that out of a Shubman Gill. You expect that to happen. But the fact that he's taken on so much responsibility, the fact that he puts a price on his wicket, because constantly throughout the build-up of the series, we had been talking about how Shubman Gill fails to convert those innings. He fails to have any sort of impact when it comes to test cricket, and especially Sena countries. This is the point that we were constantly saying, that how can you have a captain in your team who averages this much in Sena countries? This was the biggest negative talking point when Shubman Gill was announced as the India captain. Now what do you have to say about that? He's taken on that responsibility, he's taken on that challenge, and here you have it, back-to-back centuries.
You know, when you have a co-host who's actually radiating that optimism. Look at her, she's actually happy, and that's what it is like. When you turn up to England, you want to watch your team play well.
Yes.
Trust you me, you're in that press box, you're in that stadium, and you can see behind us the entire crowd now coming out. It was a packed house at Edgbaston.
A lot of crowd, by the way.
I'm telling you, it was a packed house at Edgbaston, chocker-block stadium. If your team doesn't really step up, you feel seriously down.
Yeah.
At 211 for 5, both of us were in the press box. You know, we kind of made eye contact and again sort of moved away, saying, let's not plan now.
This is the first time that the team has not sat together. We were all in, because our seating was such, you get a seating plan, because our seating was such, everyone was away. Most of the times what we do is we eventually come together, find a place and start discussing. But I think today was so tense with the amount of wickets falling that everyone just wanted their own space and wanted to watch the game and analyze it. And you know, I also texted you, should we go out now?
No.
You're like, no.
So generally what we do is we come out about 5-7 minutes in advance and we start our live on time. So Gargi texts me, shall we? And my only answer was no. Because you did not want to leave Shubman Gill and come out. You just don't want to.
I think at that point, the new ball was just 1 or 2 overs away. So I understood. I was like, no, this is not a good time.
Yeah, and think about that innings. By the way, let me give you a stat. At 25, which is Shubman Gill's age at this point, Tendulkar had 40 international hundreds.
Oh.
Virat had 26 international hundreds, and Gill now has 16. Gill has 16 international hundreds.
I know what I was saying, test.
International hundreds, 16. So he's right up there in the echelon of Indian cricket. And at the start of the series, when he was appointed captain, he had made this comment that at the end of the series, he would want to be the best batter of this series and the team. And if you go by the first 2 test matches, the man has stood up to the talk. He's walking the talk. 147 at Leeds, 114 not out here at Edgbaston. Shubman Gill. And he said that to me, remember, in that question that, sir, if I could get 50 more runs, when I asked him about the lower order, it would have made a difference. Now, can he get a 50 more runs? And if he does get 50 more runs, India gets close to 400 and past 400. Match on. Shubman Gill and Ravindra Jadeja in the last 2 hours of play has complete. That's test match cricket for you. Describe the beauty of...
You know, and see, jinx. But no, we were talking about the beauty of test cricket. And I think there was a point where it did get a bit monotonous. We were looking for a bit of twist and turn, and I was thinking, oh, it lacks a bit of drama. We need something. We need something. And of course, Shubman Gill comes up with a century, and I was a tiny bit nervous because you. It was close to the end of day, and we know the pattern with the Indian team. And I was thinking, oh, we've just gotten the new England has just gotten the new ball. What if at this point either a Cars or a Woke strikes at this point?
Very logical point,
Yeah.
but you know, I was thinking differently.
Were
when
you?
Joe Root came into bowl,
Oh.
and Shubman was still 8 short, and I was like, get it before the new ball.
And that shot.
And then that paddle, whatever,
Slap
chapati shot, sweep, whatever you want to call it, and then 96, and he gets it in that last ball. I'm sure he was thinking about it, that get it out of the way before the new ball comes in.
Yeah.
He gets 2 boundaries of Joe Root, gets to that 100. It was critical because you just get it out of the way. He had cramps, he was battling with that back problem, the physio came out, and repeatedly, even when he was running, he was holding one knee. So there were issues. Having said that, maybe even taken a medicine, but that's what Test cricket is all about. It'll test you. It'll test you. A test of resilience, a test of your determination, of your commitment, and that's what Shubman Gill showed. But when you're talking Shubman Gill, Ravindra Jadeja,
Very, very good from Ravindra Jadeja. I think he knew that there was a lot of responsibility on him this time around.
he got 100 last time round here.
Yes, yes. And we, quite interestingly, me and Rohan were passing by. We were entering the stadium and we saw the plaque of international hundreds and we saw Ravindra Jadeja. And then Trisha spoke. I saw this one live. I was here. And I thought, let's do it once more.
Yeah, she was saying, I was not here, do it for me.
Do it for me. I also want a I was here moment.
And you know Jaddu, how close he is. And we'll get him to do the sword dance for us specially.
Oh, yes.
Ravindra
Absolutely.
Jadeja.
But brilliant
Go
from
for
him.
it.
What we need to talk about is the context of when he came into bat.
Please.
You know, Nitish Kumar Reddy. Was it Nitish Kumar
Yeah,
Reddy who got
bowled,
out, right?
yeah.
That was... We will get to that. But Jadeja first. Responsibility, putting a price on your wicket. Last time around, he was doing the same thing. It was unfortunate that from the other end, you constantly kept losing wickets. There was really no one to support him from the other end. But now you know that when Jadeja is batting, he will hold that ship. He will steady that ship. All he needs is a good partner on the other end. And he can give you what no other batter can. In that lower middle order, we kept talking about how it's not firing. Now it remains to be seen whether Washington Sundar can have a huge impact with the bat. Will he get those 50, 100 runs that you want from him? But any which way, Jadeja was brilliant today. No rash shots. Very, very sensible batting from him. Defended when he could. Punished the loose deliveries. I think he was brilliant.
You know, and she talks about today, let me give you the macro picture about this guy. 2014 England Lords, the sword dance came out. Imagine how many years he's done this. Coming in at number 6, coming in at number 7, even at 5-6, Melbourne, Australia. That test match where India did not have Jasprit Bumrah reminded me of that. When Mohammad Siraj took the new ball and was the leader of the pack. Ajinkya Rahane's 100. We talk about Ajinkya Rahane's 100, hardly talk about Ravindra Jadeja's 50.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was as important. I can just keep giving you stats of Ravindra Jadeja stepping up for India whenever it has mattered the most. You know why? Because the guy has incredible temperament and has the technique to blunt out the new ball also. He's compact,
Oh, yeah.
he's got the shots,
He's got the defense.
he's dour. I mean, and more important, he's got it here. He will fight it out till the very last moment. Extremely good athlete. He will be able to do it. And when he gets runs, it's good for Jadeja, the bowler, as well. If India gets to 400 and 400 plus, Ravindra Jadeja contributing with the bat, Washington Sundar contributing with the bat, all of a sudden you will see a different verve in the Indian bowling. Yashasvi Jaiswal, in the context, very good knock, 87.
Very good knock. It's unfortunate that he missed out on a century once again.
It was there for the
But
taking.
Something about Yashasvi Jaiswal and getting a half century in that first innings. It shows you
Consistency.
that very consistent, very consistent. And you know what has happened? What the pattern is with newer batters is that in the first innings they fail to have any sort of impact. Maybe it's nerves. Maybe I don't know. They can't get the conditions right. but Yashasvi Jaiswal will come in and get those runs from the very get-go. And I spoke about this in the lunch live as well. One of the best qualities of Yashasvi Jaiswal is that he loves to put the pressure back on the opposition. He will constantly try to do something that will release the pressure. He'll find those boundaries, even when Chris Wokes was bowling. And he was bowling incredibly tight lines. He was bowling very disciplined line and length. And he was still getting those boundaries. He was still trying to release that pressure. So that's one of the best qualities of Yashasvi Jaiswal. And today as well, there was a lot of restraint shown from him. Yes, that shot was not necessary at that point. He could have gone on to get that 100, maybe even a 200. Because once Yashasvi Jaiswal gets going, there's no stopping him.
Yeah, he scored big hundreds in the past. Okay, we will now do a bit of soul searching and talk about what went wrong with Nitish Reddy and Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant first. We spoke about it. We spoke about restraint. We spoke about that fielder there at long off. That fielder was moved to long on, squarish long on. Orani Basu was sitting with me. I actually said it to him. I just hope he doesn't fall into that trap. And he was saying he won't. And he fell into that trap bang on. It just came out of my mouth and he played that shot and I was like, ah.
Classic Rishabh Pant. He's an entertainer. Look.
Yeah, but that shot from a leader.
No, I was getting there that while he's an entertainer, he doesn't need to entertain us anymore. He needs to be responsible. He needs to be a responsible batter. He's the vice captain.
And he's got so much talent.
He's got so much talent. Back-to-back centuries in that first test match.
Today also he was batting beautifully.
He was batting beautiful and he showed a lot of restraint in the beginning as well. But then something happened and I think, you know what?
And you got to give credit to Ben Stokes.
Absolutely. And I think Shoaib Bashir got in his head. I think that's what happened because there's always a constant tussle between Shoaib Bashir and Rishabh Pant. You saw that happening in the last match as well. Throughout both the innings, whenever Shoaib Bashir came on, Rishabh Pant was looking to hit and Shoaib Bashir was obviously trying to trap him. And today, unfortunately, it was Shoaib Bashir who had the upper hand and successfully trapped Rishabh Pant.
And I will give credit to Ben Stokes because ahead of tea, the fielder was there at long off. Post tea, the moment India came out, and by the way, it was not a conventional long on. It was a wide-ish long on. And there was also a pretty straight mid-on there. So he was tempting Pant that go over mid-on, that fielder is wide. So if you go over mid-on, you get a boundary. So I'm tempting you. And he fell into that.
I feel like Rishabh Pant, when he sees those traps happening, and it's not like he doesn't see it, I feel like he wants to prove a point. He wants to take them on and say, even if you've got a fielder there, I will hit over you. And that's what he tries to do.
See, that's what he used to do, but that's what he did not do at Leeds. That's what he kind of, checked himself from doing.
Yeah.
He was admonishing himself each time. But here, when you had a mid-on, he was trying to go over mid-on. There was that long-on, wide long-on fielder, and it was a good catch. I thought it was Zach Crawley, right?
Yes.
He came in, took that catch. Rishabh Pant's wicket tilted the game in favour of England.
Absolutely.
Had Pant been out there for another hour, and Gargi and I spoke about it at tea. We spoke about it at tea. Rishabh Pant out there, this would have been a different story. 310 for 4 instead of 5. It was India's day.
It needed to be Gill and Pant.
That is the partnership.
And
did you see Gill's face?
Yeah.
Because the moment Rishabh got out, I mean, obviously the telly shows the man going out and all of that. Gill, who was standing in the middle of the pitch, had that expression of disappointment writ large on his face that, oh, you know what? My vice captain did not, my second in command did not have to do that. And then when Nitish Reddy, what happens to Nitish Reddy? That's pressure.
I think Nitish Reddy preempted that shot.
He was under pressure.
Sorry, the delivery. I think what
was the previous ball?
Exactly. I think the first 2 deliveries to him were in-swinging deliveries, and I think he thought that this one would be a straighter one, or he would angle it out, something like that. I don't know what was going on in Nitish Kumar Reddy's head. Me and Trisha were trying to decode what was really going on. And the only conclusion that we came to was that Nitish Kumar Reddy probably thought that this was a more straighter delivery. It shouldn't have been, because that was a bad judgment.
It was a wrong
very
call.
Poor judgment from him.
Go check the previous ball. The previous ball was also an in-swinging delivery, and he tried to cover up his off stump and leave it.
Yeah.
He did.
That was very close as well.
Exactly. That's the point, that it was close. Wokes brought it in. And Nitish Reddy, as Gargi says, could have thought that it will go straight and left the ball. But that, you cover your off stump when you leave that ball. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
But again, even if he thought that that was a straighter one, first it was too close. The second thing is, Chris Wokes was bringing it in throughout the innings since the very first.
Maybe he also thought that the ball wouldn't jag back that much. It did move a bit. It did move after pitching. The ball kind of came into Nitish Reddy. But you know what? Based on one innings, don't castigate anyone. Don't castigate anyone. This guy did not play the Leeds match. He's gotten an opportunity here at Edgbaston. All of a sudden, he's missed out on one innings. The problem with us is we will castigate Nitish Reddy. All of a sudden, he'll become, the worst batsman of all time. That's not the case. You've got to give these people, especially these youngsters, Nitish Reddy, you give him a chance. You give him a chance. There is a second innings. He will still have a job to do with the ball. He's a gun fielder. This is when it is important to back your players. It is absolutely essential to back your players. So I would say Rishabh Pant, very disappointing. At that point in time, another hour of Rishabh Pant and Shubman Gill match would have been India's. Nitish Kumar Reddy, give him a bit more time. This was a bad error in judgment. We are saying that openly, but also saying give him a bit more time. England.
And remember, remember in Melbourne as well, Nitish Kumar Reddy got out cheaply in that first innings, but then came back and scored a century. So anything like that can happen.
And Nitish Reddy has proven time and again in Australia that he can score runs.
Yes.
And by the way, even at the nets, he was looking quite solid.
Yes.
So let's give you that. I mean, at the nets, Nitish Reddy was looking really, really decent. So there's no issues as far as I'm concerned when Nitish Reddy is concerned. There is a super chat. Even God can't save Indian bowlers on this pitch. Who's saying so? Who's saying so God can't save? Who's saying so that is a 700 pitch? Have you gone and played there? Jabra fan, what have you gone and played there? 700. Pitch. Have you gone and played there?
It's scruffing up.
Come on, boss. I mean, you're playing two spinners. The wicket is brown. Yes, it is a good batting deck on day one. What else do you expect an Edgbaston wicket? What is the average first inning score on this grounds? 370. What's the problem? You've got 310 for 5. You get to 400. Who's saying 700? Clearly, you don't have any understanding of cricket if you say 700. Come on, yeah. Come on. Give your team a chance. 400 in any circumstance, in any part of the world is a good score. And if India gets to 400, I'm absolutely sure it's game on. Shall we take some questions?
Yes, absolutely.
But before that, a word on Chris Wokes on his home ground. I thought he was brilliant.
He was incredible. He had us all sweating.
He was very good.
He was incredibly good. And I was expecting that. I don't think I said it out loud in the live in the morning, but I was having this conversation again with Trisha and Rohan about how Chris Wokes will come back in this game. And I kept saying in Leeds as well that this is not the same Chris Wokes that we saw in the Ashes. In Leeds at the same venue, he was looking absolutely dangerous there. But he made a comeback. It's his home ground. Obviously, there's a bit of a mental cushion there as well when you're bowling in your own backyard. But Chris Wokes, spitting fire. Spitting fire. Look at the line and length he was bowling, not getting tired. Moving the ball. It was incredible. It's just incredible.
Chris Wokes did justice to the homeboy tag.
Yes,
he was the one England wanted to see perform here, and he did. That ball to Nitish Reddy. We are talking about the Reddy part, the Chris Wokes part. Think he outdid the batsman in the mind. He outdid the batsman with quality. That was an outstanding spell, multiple spells from Chris Wokes. Also very good captaincy from Ben Stokes. That Rishabh Pant captaincy, he kind of beat Pant in the mind, got that done. And again with Chris Wokes, I thought Ben Stokes was spot on almost through the day. 310 for 5, he would have wanted one more with the new ball. Maybe one more, and he would have felt, okay, this is England's day. Now it's even Stevens with Shubman Gill out.
Gill and Jadeja weren't letting go. And they're both very, very settled at this point. So while there was a threat with the new ball that Wokes could come in and get that wicket at the very end of the day, but they held the ship well. Gill and Jadeja held the ship well.
Absolutely held the ship well. Okay, take 5 or 6 questions and let's close the show because there's plenty more that we have to do, including our written stuff. Do read our website for all our copies
Press
and everything.
also.
Yeah,
be
you will
out
soon get the press conference on the Rev Sports platform. Rohan Chaudhary is inside along with Trisha Ghoshal. So you'll get the copy and they will stream the press conference. Yes.
Okay,
Karthik.
Suman Avasthi is saying Jaiswal back leg did not move close to the ball. He played the shot from far.
Look at the madness that's going on there.
Oh yeah.
Look at the madness.
Ball also looked like it bounced. It was low, kept low. Look, Jaiswal anyway is not a batter.
So it was
who-
Jaiswal's PC.
Oh, it was Yashasvi Jaiswal. All right. I'm sure some tough questions would have been.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but
he
it was
did
a,
his
it was
job.
a, yeah,
He
of
did
course.
his job. Come on.
Come on, 87 as an opener,
Exactly.
100 in the first test.
And you know what the funny part is? When I tweeted the pictures of Shubman Gill from the Ref Sports platform, people started commenting, now go for 200, now go for 200. It's like, you know, typical brown parents. If you get 99, they'll ask you where's the 1 mark. That's how it is.
I don't
They
ask my
expect-
journalists about that. I don't. I'm openly saying they're doing a good job. So come on, see?
All right, but no, yes, the point about Yashasvi Jaiswal is traditionally not a batter who moves, who takes long strides or he's got phenomenal footwork or something like that. No, his natural
Look
game
at his
is,
average and look at the way he's performed.
his natural game is like that. He will stand in one place and hit you for a 6. He will, those cuts and pulls are his bread and butter.
Good stuff. You guys on the roll.
Thank you very much.
Love your book as well. I still have it.
Thank you very much.
Which book? Wait, but why did they go from here and then?
They did a Ganesha with us. But yeah.
They
But
could have
the
just-
good part is people follow the platform, people love our work, and that's what you want to see.
Okay. Simarjeet Singh has sent us a super chat. Hope Jaddu gets his 100 tomorrow. I will drink a few shots with you guys. With us, we have work to do.
I don't drink alcohol. This one does. You can go and have with Shubhan and her and the rest of the team. I will be happy with my water and my thumbs up.
No, and tea.
By the way, here in Birmingham, I do get my thumbs up if
Oh.
I go to the Gurdwara area.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Saikat Sanyal is saying today some people were saying, why Jadeja? Jadeja always proved whenever he got support from one end, he always emerged. Exactly what I said as well. Last match in Edgbaston, he did the same with Pant. Today with Gill, feel like we could get 400 to 450.
I agree entirely.
Unless,
No, I agree. Unless the new ball does the trick, but I still think Washington Sundar, with his defensive technique, is good enough for India to get to 400 and 400 plus.
now Nikhil Kumar asking a very tough questions. Where did he go? The major question still is who will take the 10 wickets for India? No total is enough on this wicket the way English team plays or bats.
You know, I think with the two spinners, they will be able to contain. I think Mohammad Siraj, the way he bowled in the nets, he has a point to prove. I do think Akashdeep will bowl well. He was getting the ball to move in the nets. I also think Prasidh Krishna will be more consistent or should be more consistent. And in the second innings, I am absolutely sure the two spinners will come into play. So you get a 400 in the first. You set the match up because you will have England bat fourth. Yes, they were superb in Leeds. Nothing to take away from that fact. But when you are playing two spinners, there will be rough. This is a different wicket. There is no reason why that India will not fancy their chances if they have a reasonable total to bowl at.
Final couple of questions. Okay, Fitmonk is saying Indian team has to avoid the batting collapse tomorrow the way I avoid elaichi in biryani.
Elaichi, you are so right. I hate that elaichi in my biryani. And by the way, the biryani here is shit. There is no egg. The Kolkata biryani is not available there.
Why are you having biryani here?
Hey, come on. If you go to these Indian places, they have this red tandoori kind of Bangladeshi stuff, which is horrible.
No, but I'm so content with the food that we're getting here.
No, the food is good. Food is good.
Food
Yes,
is good.
food
Coffee is good.
For,
More
at
importantly.
least much better than Leeds. This
Oh,
one much better than Leeds. The Edgbaston
box.
press box. This is one of the best press boxes. Let me
Yes,
put it.
100%.
Very comfortable. Good to work. The Wi-Fi works. The internet works, and these are very important things. If the
Okay.
Wi-Fi doesn't work, you're screwed.
Everyone, suddenly there's a panic in the entire press box. Everyone's telling Wi-Fi. But Devdeep Sarkar is asking.
Imagine how much we are dependent on tech.
I know. The day there's a Wi-Fi outage
You know, these
or
things
something
are kind of taken for granted.
Absolutely.
That ये काम करेगा. अभी देखो ये signal कुछ हो जाएगा तो नील वहाँ से lagging, and there's a problem anyway.
And we will all start to lose our minds. Devdeep Sarkar, last question.
बस हो क्या रहा है?
I think they're all waiting for.
What war?
Maybe
For
they're
what?
trying to get Ubers or something like
What
that.
do you mean? What do you mean? There's a blockade. There are literally 1,000 people there.
Unfortunately,
You're saying
if
Uber?
we try to go there, we will lose our network.
I'm not even bothered. They can go to hell.
Yeah. But Deep Sarkar, last question.
Yes, please.
Okay. Wonderful to watch Stokes' captaincy. He was brilliant. For the dismissal of Pant, but Shubman Gill showed stellar patience today. First session tomorrow is very important. Vokes was brilliant. You
Absolutely
basically
right.
summed up our
Absolutely
entire life.
right. Absolutely right.
Great.
Shall we?
One last, Aniruddha Bhaduri, Gill gets to century with the 96.5% control. The best ever for a player at the time of reaching century in tests in England since record begins. This is a stat by Crick Buzz.
That's a good stat. And that sort of proves Gargi's
yeah,
point.
what I was trying to say.
Where she was actually sort of trying to say but unable to
I
say
couldn't
that
say.
flawless 100. That is the point that Gargi was trying to make. Absolutely, folks. Join us for a special show tomorrow noon. And tomorrow noon, she and I, and I'm giving you the subject, will the two-spinner theory come into play if we get past 400? Will India really make a match of this given that they are playing two spinners? We will discuss and debate that. Obviously, Kuldeep Yadav will also be debated. But now that India is going to, England will bat fourth, India is going to bowl fourth, will the two-spinner theory really make a difference to our cause? That's something that Gargi Raut and me will be back with at 12 noon tomorrow, and thereafter at 2 p.m. India time, the two of us back here at the Edgbaston Cricket Ground, building up to day 2. Shubman Gill and Ravindra Jadeja will come out there with Washington Sundar in the pavilion. The match beautifully set up. Yet again, this series has lived up to the billing.
Absolutely, and there's so much to look forward to tomorrow. Will India get to 400? We will find out soon enough. Thank you for joining.
It was a magical day, except me getting stuck in the lift. Everything else was good.
Now he's getting anxious every time he steps into the elevator. I'm like, nothing will happen.
Yeah, Gargi is my calming charm. He's like, no, don't worry, sir. It's all fine. Get in. Because, you tend to get claustrophobic.
Yes.
But India will not get claustrophobic tomorrow. That's the hope that we have. Thank you very much for watching.